Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we'll be doing a yoga flow sequence, mostly focusing on working on our shoulders and our back muscles, just to help get some movement, stretches, and flexibility going on with them. So to begin, we'll start off in the back of our mat in a seated position, either on our shins or in a cross-legged, whichever feels the most comfortable. And we're just going to sit and close our eyes, keeping a nice straight spine, shoulders pulled back, as we just take a few breaths just to center ourselves and prepare for our practice. Taking some nice deep breaths, clearing our minds, forgetting everything and anything outside of the mat. Then you slowly open your eyes as we move and lean forward into a tabletop position, hands below our shoulders, knees below our hips. I'm going to go through a round of cat-cows, but we're going to do them in stages. So to begin, as we take a deep inhale, we're going to lift our head up, and then when we look up as high as we can, we're going to gently dip our bellies down, going as far down as possible, and finally pushing our shoulders back and far away from our ears. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring our chin to our chest, rounding our back, doming our bodies up, and finally pushing our shoulders closer to our ears. Going again, inhaling to lift your head up, dipping your bellies, and then pushing your shoulders back. And then exhale, bring chin to chest, doming our back, and bringing shoulders towards our ears. Going through 2 more rounds on your own pace. And finally, on your last exhale, you can lead me back into a neutral position. From here, we're going to put all our weight onto our left leg, tucking our left toes in. And then we're just going to extend our right leg out, keeping a nice straight leg, pointing our heels as far back as possible. And then putting our weight on our right hand, we're going to lift our left hand up, fingers pointing straight, maybe trying to keep a straight line between your fingers and your heel. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend our knee, bringing our elbow towards our knee. And if you can maybe just try and grab onto your knee and pull gently towards your body, feeling every muscle in your back and your thighs engage. Before finally releasing and coming back up straight. Inhale, holding for an inhale. And as you exhale, bring your hand towards your knee and then hugging it into your chest. Releasing and going through one last round. Now last inhale, and bring your hand and your knee back as we move on to the other side. Getting your left leg out, right hand up, holding for an inhale, and as you exhale, bringing your hand towards your knee and hugging your left knee into your chest. Releasing, come back, And coming back as you exhale. Going through one last round on your own. Before finally releasing, bringing your hands and knees back onto the mat. From here, we're going to go through a thread the needle. So putting your weight onto your left hand, you're going to raise your right hand up, reaching for the sky as high as you can. And as you bring your hand down, you're going to try and square your shoulders and reach your hand as far in between your left hand and knee before bringing it back up and coming back down again, matching your movements with your breath, reaching as far as you can without touching the ground and coming back up for one last one. And then as you come back down, you're going to reach your hand as far back, placing it on the mat and bringing your shoulder and your head down. And with your left hand, you can spider crawl it out in front of you. And when you've gone as far as you can, pushing your palm up, going on your fingertips, really engaging your shoulder muscles. And bringing your hand back to your head, pushing up into the tabletop as we move on to the other side. Left hand going up, reaching as high as you can, and then threading your hand between your right and left leg, going as far forward as you can before coming back up, reaching as high for the sky, and threading it between your body, keeping your shoulders as square as you can. Going through one last round. And finally, on your last one, threading and bringing your shoulder and your head down to the mat. And spider crawling your right hand out as far forward as you can and lifting your palm up and off the mat. And keep bringing your hands back to your head, pushing up into a tabletop. And we're going to slowly extend our legs out into a high plank, holding our plank for an inhale. Push the ground away from our bodies before finally lifting our hips up and pushing back into our very first downward facing dog. Pedaling the dog out, just bending one knee at a time. For finally meeting back into center. We're going to start with our right leg, straightening it out and lifting it high as we can for a three-legged dog. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend and bring our right foot forward, placing it between our hands as we lower our left leg down and tucking our back toes, lifting our hands up for a low crescent lunge, and then cactusing our arms out, really engaging our back muscles, squeezing our shoulder blades together. And then we're going to clasp our hands behind our back, grabbing them together and pulling back as far as we can while pushing our hips forward and letting our head just hang back. Releasing your hands on your exhale, placing them down on the mat, lifting your back knee as you kick back into a plank, and pushing back into a downward facing dog. Moving on to the other side. Left leg kicking up. Exhaling to go foot between the hands. Sorry about that. Lowering your back leg. Moving up for your low crescent lunge. Opening your chest as you cactus your arms. And then clasping your hands behind your back. Really pushing your shoulders and your hands as far back as you can. And just letting your head hang loose. Releasing your hands and meeting me back into a plank. And then from here, we're going to stay in that plank position as we just lower down onto our elbows for a low plank. And then we're going to twist our bodies our bodies face to the right as we go into a side plank. If you're struggling here, you can just bend your left knee just to give it a little bit of assistance. But keeping the side plank, you can either keep your hands together, right hand just slightly out in front of you to help with your balance, or maybe even reaching your right hand up as we really feel the stretch and engaging our core for our left side. Bringing our right hand down as we move on to the other side. Right forearm on the mat, legs out straight, and then once more our hand either on our right out in front of us or reaching up for the sky. Bring our hands back down to the mat. And then from here, you can meet me in a Tadasana pose on the back of your mat, bringing your hands towards your feet as you slowly roll your whole body up. Rolling your shoulders back as you bring your head up, hands facing forward. Just take a breath, feeling your feet nice and grounded on the mat. Then placing your hands on the lower back of your lower back, fingers pointing down. Gently going to bend our knees, pushing our hips forward as we let our shoulders and head hang back for a nice gentle back bend. Arm back up straight. Lifting our arms up as high as we can. Then with our right hand, we're going to grab our left wrist and just pull our whole left side over to the right, bending it over our ribs. Really breathing into the stretch. Before finally coming back up straight, swapping hands, and moving on over to the other side. Straightening up one last time, letting your arms come down to the side, taking a deep inhale, and as we exhale, keeping our legs straight, we're going to fold forward down with our bodies coming towards our knee. Letting our whole upper body sway from side to side, maybe even grabbing your elbows for a ragdoll. Finally releasing. We're going to go through a halfway lift. Inhaling, placing our hands on our shins, lifting up halfway, keep a nice straight back. And as we exhale, folding back forward. And then finally, we're going to bring our hands down to the mat, lowering down onto our knees or our bums, whichever position you started with in the beginning. As we settle, closing our eyes for a few breaths, feeling all the muscles that we stretched and we pushed. Take one last inhale, and then sigh it all out. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a very quick and very simple session. I hope you found some benefit, found something you guys can find to incorporate in your daily lives. And until next time, I hope to see you again on the yoga mat.